Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We will now continue from the previous class. Just a quick recap of what we covered. We did Raum, we did Ishmam, that these are the two ways of how we can stop. And then we saw the places wherein we cannot do Raum and Ishmam. So the first one was when you have an actual sukoon on the word, like when you have Warabbaka fakabbir. It's an actual sukoon at the end, fakabbir. When you have an actual sukoon at the end, you cannot do Raum and you cannot do Ishmam. The other thing we saw was arid al-shakl, means you have a change, you have a conditional vowelization. The vowel is not actually there, but there is a condition because of which the vowel is coming. Like you have this an anzirin nasa. Here the word actually is anzir. This word is actually anzir. And then you have an-nasa, which is hamzatul wasl is when you're continuing, you're going to drop that. So the word is beginning with noon sukun. So anzir and noon sukun, you cannot join two sukun. Because of that, anzir is provided or presented with a kasra, and anzir in nasa. Same way this word here, antum. Antum, you all know, antum is with a sukun. But when you have al-loon, which is again starting with a sukun, you cannot recite two sukun together, and that is why this is presented with a dhamma, with a vowel. وَلَا تَهْزَنُوا وَأَنْتُمُ الْأَعْلُونَ. Sorry, a'laun. Really sorry. Previously also I mentioned loon. It's laun, a'laun. So arid shakl is the conditional vowelization, and they are also in words like hina idin, yawma idin, because kasra is presented on the dal. It's originally sukun. So here ram and ishmam, why are they forbidden? Because the presented vowel is in general, and origin was a sukun. And sukun, as we know, we cannot do ram and ishmam on that. Now the next is the one which has a fatha on it, which is a conjugated fatha or a permanent, but not a tanween. Like for example, you have ihdina sirat al-mustaqima. Okay, this is the conjugated fatha. Now, if you have a permanent or fixed fatha, like tabbat yada abi lahabiyun wa tab, this is a permanent or it's a fixed fatha. Because if you see the word tab, is tabba, it's a verb, it's a fail, and it will have a fatha. The word itself, the formation of the word itself is a fatha. Now, al-mustaqima is conjugated. Like you can say al-mustaqimu, al-mustaqima, al-mustaqimi. So this is a conjugated fatha because of the various conjugations. If you see that over here in this ayah, it will take a fatha. But when you see here, tabba, here it's a permanent fatha, fixed fatha. Alladhi yukhrijul kaba. Kaba. Kaba, it has a fatha at the end, kab'a. So that a is a conjugated fatha. So if you have a conjugated or a permanent fatha, which is these two conditions which is mentioned, but not a tanween, should not have a tanween fatha. Then we saw ha at-ta'nith, which is maghfirah. Now this ta, as we saw that this is actually not the actual letter, because the ta, when we stop on it, we'll recite it as a ha sukun. Then we saw ta mabsuta. Like you have an open ta, according to Hafs, it can be stopped in three possible ways: sukun al-mahd, ar-ram, and al-ishmam, depending on the vowel of the ta letter which is there, which is containing. If it has a dhamma, then you can stop on all three. Like ram, ishmam, you can do when you have a dhamma. But if you have a kasra on it, stopping with sukun mahd and ram are allowed. Like in this one, wa bi ni'mati, here ta has a kasra. This is open ta, mabsuta. If it has a fatha, then you can only stop with a sukun, rahmah, rahmat. Okay, you can only say rahmat when it's a fatha. And also, there is a note mentioned, ha at-ta'nis is always conjugated, it's never fixed in a vowel. Ha at-ta'nis. And this is going back to this one. Here. The female ha, you have two divisions. One is this one, ta marbuta, which is closed ta. And one is this one, the open ta, mabsuta. Okay. Then this is the one where we stopped here, which is ha dhamir. Ha dhamir, what does this mean? It is found only at the end of the words and you can stop with an absolute sukoon, and all agree with this. The difference is whether it can be stopped with Raum and Ishmam. Now, there are three schools of thought concerning about the stopping of Raum and Ishmam on this. Pronoun ha is the huwa, huma, hum chart. If you see the attached pronouns, which is who, like kitabu, who, that is the pronoun ha. It's at the end of the word only it comes. Now, the first school, they say that complete forbiddance of there being Raum and Ishmam on the ha, using the ha at ta'nis as a ghosh, because the similarity of the ha dhamir when stopping. Like when you do ha at ta'nis, the female ha, which is maghfirah, which we just saw, we stop like a ha sukoon. Same way over here also, the ha dhamir, when you stop, there's a similarity. So what they say is that Ishmam and Rom cannot be done. The second school, what they say is Rom and Ishmam are allowed depending on the vowel of the ha. When you continue, whatever vowel is there, like as we saw dhamma, you can do fatha, you cannot do that way. The third one, they have divided it into sections. According to Imam Ibn al-Jazari, which is the most correct school of thought, it's called Madhab Tafsil. You have Raum and Ishmam forbidden in 4 places. When 4 states is forbidden and all other states is allowed. Okay, so the 4 states where Raum and Ishmam are forbidden, it's mentioned as when you have a ya sakina before a ha. Okay, like over here, if you see he, abawaihi, his. So ha is here means his. Before that, you have a ya sukoon. So abawai. Here you cannot do Raum and Ishmam. You have to stop with the sukoon. Whether it is a ya maddiya, ya or ya leani ya. This is lean. I lean sound. So in this case, they've said that it's forbidden to do Raum and Ishmam. The second, what they mention is, of course, when you have this rule, you will have the rule of the waw as well. When you have a waw sakina before the ha, no difference whether it's a sakina or which is a maddiya or it's a lean. فَلَمَّا رَأَوْهُ حَرِّقُوهُ. So here you cannot do Raum and Ishmam as per this third school of thought. The other one, when you have a kasra before it, you have he and you have ri, qadarihi. So haqqa qadarihi. When you have ri, how do you do Raum and Ishmam? It becomes difficult. So you have just ri and you stop. And the other is when you have a dhamma preceding it. In kuntu qultu. Qultu. Already you are on the dhamma place here on tu. So it becomes difficult to do the Raum and Ishmam on the ha because you wouldn't make out. So then after this, what remains in the school of thought, apart from these 4 forbidden states, so which is it permits them to stop the ha dhamir with Raum and Ishmam in addition to being stopping with a sukoon. Like for example, you have, if you have a alif maddiya before it, وَبَشَّرْنَاهُ. So here I can do Raum and stop. Even when you have a fatha before it, like فَقَدْ عَلِمْتَهُ, and I can do Raum and Ishmam. Now you wouldn't make out if I'm doing it, because for seeing Raum and Ishmam, you need to see my face. So it's only when you sit with a live teacher, you will be able to do it and understand whether you're doing it proper. And also if you have a proper sukoon before it, an actual sukoon, فَلْيَصُمْ, and I can do Raum and Ishmam here. Now also you need to note that ha dhamir is never conjugated. It's always fixed. Either you have a dhamma or a kasra. Conjugated is like when you have an ism, you have rafa, nasb, jar, al-muslimu, al-muslima, al-muslimi. So that cannot be done. It's fixed. It's either hu, and sometimes it's changed to a he with a kasra. Ha dhamir can be stopped on with Raum and Ishmam in the 3 previously discussed allowable states, which is what we just saw, according to the vowel when you continue. If it has a dhamma, it will be stopped with a complete sukoon, or with Raum or with Ishmam. If it is a kasra, then you have, it is allowed to stop on it with a Raum or complete sukoon. You cannot do Ishmam then, because for Ishmam is done when you have a dhamma. So here now you have a summary of stopping on the ha dhamir. The 3 schools of thought. The first school where it says it's forbidden. Second school wherein they say that it's allowed, and of course sukoon also is allowed. And the third one, which is tafsil, mazhab al-tafsil, they say that for 4 cases it's not allowed, the rest all it's allowed. So that, which is what is mentioned. You can go over the chart if you need to. Okay, and 3 divisions of stopping at the end of the word using the 3 previously studied sections. Okay, one is wherein you stop is allowed only in one way, which is ishmam. You have 5 conditions, 5 kinds of conditions on the last letter based on which you will decide the ishmam. Then the other says that which allows stopping by 2 ways, which is either you do it the proper sukoon, or you do raum, or you cannot do ishmam. And the one which says you can do all the 3 ways, sukoon, raum, and ishmam. So the conditions. So these are just the same charts of what we have covered. We can go over it as a revision. Once you study it, read it twice, thrice, and then you can come back to the chart and understand it. Now we come to the next one, which is called al-waqf bil hazf. Hazf means to delete. So stopping with deletion. Now when you do a stopping with deletion, you have 3 such places. التنوين من المرفوع والمجرور, meaning the dhamma and kasra tanween. التنوين from marfu will have a dhamma, majrur is a kasra. So dhammatain, kasratain, like when you have a noon sakina of the tanween, it is deleted. The noon sakina of the tanween is deleted. Like for example, you have in قوله تعالى سبحانه وتعالى إنه لقرآن كريم. Now this word is karimun. So karimun, when you're stopping kareem, the noon sakina, noon sakina sound, that is deleted. Tanween sound is deleted. So that's how you will stop when you have a tanween fatha or tanween kasra. Now the next is when you stop on sila ha damir. Sila ha damir, remember this one? Mad sila, which we did in the tajweed rules. So mad sila is you have a pronoun. If you have a preceding and the next letter is voweled, you will have a small waw written here which says this is a mad. So lengthening of this vowel of ha damir, the sila of ha damir is deleted when stopping. So if you stop here, مثقال ذرة خيرا يره, you just stop with the sukoon. You don't say yarahu. That mad is deleted. Whether it's a ya madiyya or waw madiyya. Okay. Then you have the next one. الياءات الزوائد عند من أثبتها في وصل فقط. Meaning you have the extra ya for those who establish them when continuing. Like for example, this comes only once when we read Hafs and Asim. This is in the word Atani, Surah An-Naml, ayah number 36. Over here, فَمَا آتَانِيَ اللَّهُ خَيْرٌ. So you see the ya, small ya written over here, ya, fatha ya. It's Atani and Allahu. So you cannot say Atani Allahu. You have to say Atani Allahu. This is it is read with an established ya with a fatha when you continue. Now if you stop, there are 2 ways that are allowed on by Hafs. One is you delete the ya. So you just say فَمَا آتَانِ. You just stop. The other is you keep the ya. فَمَا آتَانِ. Like that. So again, both the ways are allowed. You have another kind of stop, which is called stopping with substitution, al-waqf bil-ibdal. Now when does this happen? First, there are 2 cases. The first is when you have the 3 types of tanween, which is if you have tanween fil ism mansoob, which is a tanween fatha, whether the alif is written or not. Like بما لا يسمع إلا دعاء ونداء. So I'm stopping with a fatha. نداء. Whether you have the alif, like for example, if you see here Hamza is there, after that you have fathatain, but there is no alif written after it. Usually if you have a fathatain, you will have an extra alif, like here hasiba, it's hasiban, but you have an alif. So when you stop here, you are changing it, ibdal, the tanween, to a fatha mad. The other is the tanween in alif maqsura, whatever the conjugation, since they're all written with a fatha, so that tanween also. Like أو كانوا غزة وهو عليهم عمى. Okay, this is tanween is changed into alif in all of these 3. The third one, what is it? You have lafz idhan al-munawwan. Idhan al-munawwan means it's a tanween. So when you stop on the word idhan, when it is a tanween, when you have am lahum nasibum min al-mulki fa idha, you will stop with a maddiya fa idha. Similar is the noon at-tawqid al-khafifa, meaning the light noon. which comes in two places in the Quran. In Surah Yusuf, ayah 32, وَلَيَكُونًا مِنَ الصَّاغِرِينَ. وَلَيَكُونَا, okay, وَلَيَكُونَا, you will stop like that. And ayah 15, لَنَسْفَعًا بِالنَّاصِيَةِ, لَنَسْفَعًا. So when you stop, you're going to change that tanween fath to a maddiya alif. The second case, I think we will better continue this in the next class, because, or else if you want, you could complete and do stealing the next one. Okay, let's do this topic as the last one. The second case, when you have a case of ha at-ta'nis, which is at the end of a singular noun. Ha at-ta'nis is what? Feminine ha. The feminine ha you have at the end of a noun, which is singular. So in this case, all these cases, the ta is changed to a ha when you stop. This we've already covered up. ادعو إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة. You stop حسنة with a ha sukun. If you have a tanween on the ta'nis, like narun hamiyah, so the tanween is deleted and ta will change to a ha sukun when you stop. Now, application of stopping on the end of words. We can now apply the different ways of stopping on one word in recitation. Like if we stop on the word as-sama, it can be stopped in the following ways. One is sukun, which is wajib muttasil, mad wajib muttasil sama. You have that mad, so you have to strength, or added li sukun, like 6 counts and all. Those are all on the tajweed rules. So you can either stop with a sukun, but when you do sukun here, these rules of maddiya will apply with the lengthening of 4, 5, 6 counts. Or you can do raum, which is over here. If you see sama has a dhamma, okay, so you can do raum, which will be, again, you're stopping, so there will be a mad, which is 4 or 5 counts, because raum is when you continue, and this arad li sukun mad is only when you stop. So here you will only have this mad wajib muttasil, because raum you can do only when you're continuing. Or you can do ishmam, again both mad will apply, because ishmam when you stop. Now for knowing maddiya, you'll have to refer to less part 1 of the book, the different maddiya sounds, and raum and ishmam is again these previous chapters. Or if we stop on the word فَأَطَاعُوا, again here the possible ways. If you see the madhab man, the forbidden school of thought, stopping with only a pure sukun, and the 3 ways of arid sukun. Arid sukun is you have a mad here, the second last letter is a mad, and you stop. You have option of stretching this normal mad to 2 counts, 4 counts, or 6 counts. So the forbidden school will say no, only sukun is allowed, nothing else. The allowed school, madhab al-jawaz, will say you have 7 different ways of stopping: the pure sukun and the 3 ways of arid li sukun, or stopping with ishmam and the 3 ways of counting arid sukun, or raum with asr. Only 2 counts. Stop when you're stopping with raum, only 2 counts. Then you don't do the maddiya here, because raum is only when continuing, and here maddiya will come only when you're stopping. Then you have madhab at-tafsil, which is the last school which we saw. You can stop with a sukun or 3 different ways of arid sukun, but raum and ishmam are prohibited. Why? Because if you see here, the waw is preceded by a ha dhamir. Sorry, you have a ha dhamir, and the ha dhamir is preceded by a waw. So this was one of the conditions when we did the tafsil, the third school of thought. This was one of the conditions when you cannot do raum and ishmam. So these 2, what we just saw, are their examples. Like we have here, till here we have completed the ways of stopping over here. Now you have 2 examples given. Like if you have the word as-sama'u and you want to stop on it, how do you stop? So based on all what we studied, these are the analysis on how we will stop. And the other examples is fa'ata'u, this is a word, and if you want to stop, these are the 3 schools of thought and how do you apply. So that is what is discussed and the examples. The next class we will continue from here, the stealing, al-ikhtilas, what it means and what it is. So we stop here on page number 35. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.